Does your rhythm always sound kind of plain? The fix isn't harder or more complex chords. It's the Curtis Mayfield trick of slipping fills into the gaps. Hendrix learned it, and you can too. So in this video, I'll show you how to bring that Curtis Mayfield style into your own play. But don't worry, I'll use standard tuning. It's easy, practical, and in just a few minutes, you'll be able to drop those beautiful fills into any song. Curtis Mayfield wasn't just a great singer and songwriter. He was also one of the most original rhythm guitarists ever. His chords weren't static. They breathed, shifted, and just made music more fun to listen to. In 1965, when the Impressions recorded the song People Get Ready, the world was in turmoil. The civil rights movement needed hope, and this song became an anthem. Dr. King even called it the movement's unofficial theme, with its train a-coming being a metaphor for a better life. And while the lyrics carry a beautiful message, the guitar part sets the tone. Gentle, warm, gospel-inspired chords with little fills tucked inside. That sound inspired Jimi Hendrix, among others, and it still sounds joyful and uplifting today. But Curtis used a strange tuning, open F sharp. Do we need to do that? No, we don't. Hendrix didn't do that, and he was able to create beautiful works of art like Little Wing or One Raining Wish without having to learn non-standard chord grips. Now I know he tuned down his whole guitar to E flat, but because he tuned down every string, the chord grips and the scale shapes all stay the same. So the good news, we're going to stay in standard tuning. Now let me take 30 seconds to play through what I'm going to teach, and then you can do it too. So there it is, a very simple arrangement, but it has a number of simple things that'll give your playing a lift. So let's start at the start with the chords themselves. So here are the basic chords to the song. These are all in the key of D, and at first it seems like there's really a lot going on here because there's a lot of chord changes, but remember, it's a very slow song, so it's not so hard to make the changes. Second thing is, you'll see that the first half and the second half are almost identical. So we're going to cover it that way too. I'll show you exactly what happens in the first half, and then I'll show you what happens in the second half. There's only one difference, and that's at G/A. Now, if you haven't encountered slash chords, that just means a G with an A in the bass, and that's a characteristic gospel chord. We'll cover it. Now, as I said, we'll go through each of these parts of what I played exactly, the first part and then the second part. But before we do, I want to show you a key to why adding these fills works. And the good news is it's really easy. We are going to use simple chords like this, and not big block chords like this, not complicated chords or, that kind of stuff. Why? Well, when we use little chords, we have free fingers to do little runs or fills. Like for example, this little D triad right here. We can add a bunch of fills. Or this little G triad here. We can add little fills as well. I'll point out these triads as we get to them. But if you want a simple guide to these triads in all keys, you can click the link in the video description for my free triad roadmap. All right, people, we're ready now. So let's get on with the arrangement. All right, here's the first half, slowly. Now let me show you that first part line by line. Let's go. Now the first half of the first part is just over a D, B minor 7, G, and D. Now you could just play that. It would sound fine. It's such a beautiful progression. But I'm actually going to play less to emphasize a melody. So here's what I played. Those first two, just a D triad, really, and then I'm playing this B minor 7, but I'm only playing it to the G string. And what that does is you end up hearing, check it out, right? And it just gives it a bit of a melody. It's also easier to play, which is nice. Now on the back part, instead of just playing the G to the D, and that's a D inversion, it's an inverted triad that I'm using right there. But instead of doing that, what I do is I hammer on to the G and I play a suspended chord, which is kind of characteristic. Both those things are characteristic of this style. Sounds kind of nice. And to me, it sounds very churchy. You can hear that in there, which is kind of gives it a nice feel. Did you notice I was playing it with pick and fingers? Don't worry about that. You can use pick and fingers if you want, or you can just use your fingers, or you can just use a pick, whatever is the most comfortable for you. Now let's play the second half of that first part. That little scale run is just in D major pentatonic. So now I'm setting up for the F sharp minor. I play an F sharp minor 7 here. I play that little extension. Back to my B minor 7. This time I'm playing all the way to the B string, and I'll show you why in just a second. And then I've got a G. Here's my little G. It's just a little piece of this big chord. There's that little fill. And a D. So what's going on there? When I play the F sharp, I'm really setting up a melody line. Again, a simple one. Really pretty, right? Simple and pretty. Well done. We're halfway there. And what did I tell you about those triads? So helpful. And also creating a simple melody line. It doesn't need to be complicated to be effective. But now we're going to pull out the stops a little bit on the second half. It's essentially the same, but just a couple of little doodads in there. Let me show you. So pretty. See, it has the same structure, but with just a couple of extra tricks. Let's check it out. So the first half of that second part goes like this. So we're changing that same D to B minor 7, but this time the melody is now a little fill based on the B minor pentatonic or D major pentatonic. Either way is fine. To look at it, they're both the same essentially. And now we're playing that same suspension hammer on, but this time I'm arpeggiating the chord. That is a pretty thing to get down. Make sure you have all those notes ring. Now I do something that's maybe a little pretentious. I do a little tap harmonic, a tap harmonic here on the 19th fret. And that means I'm holding on the 7th and tapping on the 19th there. You can play a regular harmonic if you want, or just leave it out. It sounds great either way. See, it's pretty much the same, just a little bit fancier. All right, let's have a look at the second half of the second part now. There are two new chord forms in there, so let's check them out. Nice. All right, we're going to start out with this F sharp minor 7. This time we're going to do a little dipsy doodle with a hammer on and pull off. That's a characteristic move as well in R&B. There's a B minor. Now, if you don't know that triad, that's a good triad to know. And now, here's the gospel chord. I love that chord. It's my favorite chord maybe of all time. I like thinking of it as just a G chord, but I'm moving the bass to the A. A nice, soft, gentle landing on the 1 chord D. Very pretty. See, it's an easy and beautiful way of playing rhythm, and you can do it. You got this. But if you're looking for more of a rock context where this happens, John Fogerty did it too, and that's what I show in this video. I show you exactly how to do it. So click here. I'll see you on that next video, and I'll see you on down the road.